Hi, this is Marina from Dance Star Astrology, bringing you the new moon in November, and that means we're in Sagittarius season. This one is going to fall at 4 degrees of Sagittarius. It's going to be quincunx Uranus, which is the inconjunct. The healing crystal that I'm choosing is Red Carnelian. Well, that's kind of appropriate because I am getting into infrared healing at the moment. The fixed stars are Acrab and Dschubba. They're both in Scorpio, the constellation of Scorpio, and the tarot card will be the 8 of Wands. So now this moon is another kind of, well, you know, it's the season as well. November, like October, has that kind of Halloween-y, spooky feel to it. And even though now we're in Sagittarius, a lot of this sign is still, it falls over the constellation of Scorpio. So this one, Austin Kopok called it Poison Arrow. He's another astrologer who's into the decans, because Sagittarius Decan 1 is represented by the 8 of Wands tarot card, and you might know this as Swiftness in the Thoth deck. So we burst out of Scorpionic hostage, where we may have been captive over the last few weeks while the sun's been in Scorpio, and now this is a fresh and urgent place for us, but at the same time it's not blindly impulsive. This moon in Sagittarius 1 will not strike until it's utterly sure of its target, and then it will hit the bullseye straight off. So the moon here is swift, graceful, and straight to the point. It's more likely to be competitive in a less physical manner than you would expect from a sign with hooves, though, because Scorpio's influence is still fresh, with the shadowy lone wolf prowling through this zone as well. Lupus, constellation Lupus. There are also poisonous snakes in the grass, Hermes, Slinky Caduceus, and voodoo dollies nailed onto trees. The moon here is garish, like glow-in-the-dark makeup. Here we find spooky shamanic face paint. Think of Jackie Stallone, who also has this. Well, she has a natal moon here. And also think of that gothy Mexican Day of the Dead type imagery as well. Tim Curry also has his moon here. They all spring to mind. So Sagittarius moon decan 1 can be unexpectedly covert in their operations, even if they do look like a scary clown. Sometimes they do get away with murder just because they look so darn freakish. I mean, that's way too obvious for a murder mystery, right? So at this time, we really need to have a target set to aim with our poison arrows, because you don't want that venom flying all over the place. So without a specific aim, Austin Kopok says of this moon that the integrity of the personality breaks down and becomes prone to vice. Thus, many of these natives will pursue a questionable goal rather than none at all. They must learn to be discerning in which rabbits they choose to chase. So, you know, that goes for the energy of this moon as well. If you have a connection to it, then, you know, just make sure you just don't go down some crazy rabbit hole that you can never get back from. So just some examples of people with this, so you sort of get the idea of the energy. So we have Saddam Hussein, Nicholas Copernicus, Aristotle Onassis, who else? Oprah Winfrey, Jackie Stallone, as I said, Ivana Trump and Ivanka Trump, and they're both quite clownish, I guess. Lulu, oh, you probably won't know her, she's an English singer, but she was quite brash. And Ravi Shankar has it, Tim Curry, yes. I think they kind of suit it, they sort of epitomise it. And Pablo Picasso as well. So, and Lewis Carroll, so quite storytelling in a sort of, well, fairy, more like a dark fairy tale, I guess. Now, the two stars that are being activated for this moon are Acrab and Dschubba. Now, Dschubba's at the forehead of the Scorpion, and Acrab is just the head. So I think Dschubba, because it's the forehead, it makes me think of the third eye as well. And this one I found to be, although it's not a particularly bright star, it just seems to have really, it just counts as a dark star to me, because it is quite psychopathic. When I was doing research for my psychopaths post that I did years ago, and I was going to carry on going down that road, but I never got around to finishing it. But I just found it can be a very psychopathic kind of energy if it's in the chart of an unevolved person. That's the thing, when you get these really strong energies, like I always say, they're like scalpels, they're like knives, so they can be used for good or for ill. So Dschubba, according to Ptolemy, is of the nature of Mars and Saturn, both the malefics. It causes sudden assaults, malevolence, immorality, and shamelessness. So now the Ebertines say, according to traditions, these stars are credited with giving the ability to do research. So there you go, and in-depth study, very much kind of spy energy as well. And they carry on and say, especially research into things of a particularly secret and hidden nature, deep state. In lower types, however, a tendency to falsehood and treason can be noted. Eric Morse says Dschubba is a fighter of great skill and characterises Mars-Saturn perfectly. Anyone with a star strong in their horoscope is likely to show a patient and wary approach to any situation. Scorpio is famous for the surgeons born in it, and this star shows up just the qualities they need to have. The same applies to generals, policemen, private investigators, and secret service agents. So, yeah, both suited to detective work and makes a thorough, in-depth researcher. So, yeah, forensic scientists, and also this is very much the area of autopsies, especially, to find out how someone was poisoned. That's very much this kind of energy. So I don't know if we'll see in the news some kind of story about poisoning somewhere, and having to solve that mystery, or someone could die, someone famous in the news, but maybe they were really poisoned. So there could be a cover-up of that as well. Who knows? So, yes, the tarot card associated with this is the Eight of Wands. And you can see the intensity of the decan reflected in the frenzy of this card. Mercury and Jupiter as rulers because they rule this decan, show the desire to juggle many opportunities at once as well. So Teach Me Tarot say, quote, things are beginning to move into action now as adrenaline fuels your system. It is time to make a move, so get moving. You must now strike while the iron is hot, and when you are so enthused. You have real momentum building behind you, so all you have to do is take the next step and it will snowball after that. Each opportunity will appear exciting and wonderful. Each will be hard to resist, but it will not be possible to take them all on board. So yeah, you have to be quite discerning with this tarot card, and also kind of fits with the sort of Sagittarius focused energy, because obviously it's trying to hit the bullseye with that. So don't get distracted, keep focused. I think it's a very good focusing moon really for that. But the moon quincunx Uranus, it's quite a nutty one. This is unconventional rebels, quiet outsiders, but also the pathological need to shock and outrage. I always think of this as being people like, the social justice warriors, the typical kind of, I don't know. I mean, I used to be a bit like this, but the blue haired brigade. I did used to have blue hair when I was a punky, gothy teenager, and it's desperate for attention. It's just because of it's all because probably absent fathers. Now I look at them, they're just all angry with their dad. I was too, so I've been there, and so anyway, yeah, a lot of these angry blue-haired women it's just patriarchy problems and father problems, and not having any discipline. They kind of unconsciously want someone to tell them off and pull them into line. So there may be a bit of that in the news. I'm thinking of, who's that Russian punk band who protested, and I don't know what they did. Did they strip off and dance on an altar or something in a church in Russia? I can't remember what they were called, but that was something that happened in the 90s, I think it was, or maybe it was in the noughties, the naughty noughties. But anyway, with this aspect, the quincunx, I like to call it the kinky quincunx, because it just makes everything a bit weird. So it can be eccentric mothers as well, and it's pretty much spaced out. Galileo was born with moon quincunx Uranus, and I mean I guess he was the I mean, flat earthers I guess would call Galileo the enemy, really, because it was through him that we no longer had flat earth. So the ball came about, didn't he? And I mean, this is all very weird, isn't it? I mean, when I wrote this post, I didn't really know much about it, so I just wrote, this belief put Galileo in conflict with the Catholic Church because a heliocentral model went contrary to biblical scripture. So the Bible is a flat earther. Wow. Galileo had many powerful patrons who helped protect him from persecution from the Inquisitors. Oh yeah, really? He had powerful patrons. One of his sponsors even became Pope. See, so I don't think he was the Catholic Church was his enemy much, really. And Galileo promised to discontinue research into the heliocentric universe, but eventually was punished anyway. What? I don't know. I mean, when I wrote this post, I got this all from Wiki, so how do we know? What's Wiki's agenda here? It's very confusing. So yeah, then the controversial moon quincunx Uranus energy meant Galileo couldn't really expect a sedate retirement. For his truth-seeking activities, Galileo experienced interrogation under threat of torture and was placed under house arrest until his death. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. That I suppose maybe before he discovered the Earth was a round thing, the church liked him, and I guess once he did that, then they didn't. But if it was really that controversial, then maybe wouldn't he have been hung? Because that's what happened to Giordano Bruno. He came before Galileo, and he had the first ideas of the stars actually going around a sun, and having, instead of it being flat. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it just when I look back at these kind of genius people that were around in like the 1500s and the 1600s, and I just think, wow, we've just they knew so much, and I really do think that we are just getting retarded. I'm sorry. The more I read history books, the more I just think, God, what is going on? But I think it is because we have technology doing everything for us, so that we've forgotten how to think. I mean, the younger generation, critical thinking, where is that going? But I think there will be. I think it's coming back. Maybe I'm just being an old fart, so yeah, let's just shut up. But yeah, Moon Uranus, David Icke has Moon conjunct Uranus, so we have a very Uranian energy to go along with all the Sagittarian, Jupiter, visionary. We've got a nice visionary kind of feeling here, even though there is also the I guess the malevolence of Dschubba as well. So I mean, it's interesting, this one. It's a kind of Uranus Pluto mashup, really, those kind of energies. Again, it's that revolutionary spirit. It reminds me of the energy of, when we had the Uranus square Pluto in 2012. It's that kind of visionary, paradigm shifting, but it's also the darkest. It's like the Dark Ages, but it's always darkest before light. I know that's such a cliche, but I just don't wonder how long this dark is going to go on for. I think it has to reach peak degeneracy first, when you're thinking of the fall of the Roman Empire. And I think for it to do that, maybe there has to be some kind of venereal disease that is really difficult to cure. I mean, actually, you know, when AIDS came along first, there was a Pluto-Saturn conjunction, and now it's coming around again. So I don't know if there's going to be, I don't know if that may be some kind of signal for the end times. But I don't want to be this kind of doom and gloom, it's the end times, because it's not. It's a cycle, isn't it? So for me, it's like, oh, you know, it's winter time, and it has to, all the leaves have got to fall off the trees basically before spring can come, and all the earth has to be refreshed, and all the yuck has got to be burnt away before spring can arrive. So it's not end of times, it's just end of a cycle. So yeah. So the healing crystal is carnelian. That's what I picked for this one. Also because I think it looks a bit like Jupiter as well, and Jupiter's the ruler of Sagittarius, so I thought that fitted quite well. And also with the colours of the first face of Sagittarius, which is yellow, white and red. So yeah, there we go. So it's all about, according to Energy Muse, this crystal is all about vibrance from its colour to its energy. If you feel trapped or bored, carnelian is the energy that you want to invite in. It's the life of the party, helping you break free of the norm. The carnelian meaning ignites a desire for adventure. Use this bold new outlook to approach your life from a different point of view. It can be tough when we get stuck in a safe but predictable routine to risk our security for a sense of renewed passion. The carnelian offers protection from such fears and encourages you to push past hesitations until you find the abundance that you're looking for. So yeah, that really fits with the whole sort of Jupiter visionary, and also the Uranus as well, like breaking habits. Uranus pushes through the boundaries of that as well. Other things that are good about carnelian is it improves concentration, removes extraneous thoughts in daydreamers, and the mental chatter you get in meditation. Protects against envy, rage and resentment, yours and from others. Encourages a love of life. Very useful for overcoming abuse, helping you to trust yourself, especially, I guess, if you've been gaslighted a lot too. So carnelian comes in a few different colours, and carnelian, it's carne, which is Italian for meat. So anything from sort of pinky rare, I guess, to a sort of very dark red. It's very sort of it's very bloody looking. But I picked the scarlet shade one really because it combines the energy of the pure red ray and the exuberance and joy of orange as well. It is a colour of strength and vitality, both physical and spiritual. Scarlet crystals help overcome fear, again, and improve self-reliance. They're the crystals of victory, success and skill. So this is really interesting because I've just got myself I've started to make myself a infrared sauna for my bedroom, and I've done the lamp bit, and you basically construct a little sort of, I think I'll show it on Instagram, it's hard to describe, but I managed to wire up some lamps from old photography lights that I had when I was an illustrator. And one of the light bulbs came today, and you have to get the really bloody expensive ones because otherwise they off-gas some toxin. So I tried just the one. I'm going to get them gradually till I get 3. And God, it was nice. And I shone it on my throat today. You can't sit too near it, so I didn't go too near. But yeah, red light therapy. It's a kind of mix of red light therapy, and they're so hot that hopefully I can sort of make a sauna as well. But it's kind of hard to get a hot sauna when you don't have a small room that you can sort of put it in. So But anyway, it's worth doing. Read up about red light therapy because it's an eye-opener. I didn't really know about it. I'd vaguely heard about these infrared, near infrared saunas or whatever they're called. But I just thought I couldn't afford to buy one because I was looking at them online, and you can get ones for about £300, but they are so loaded in EMFs, and I just thought, so you're replacing one thing with another toxin. And so the least toxic ones are ones that you basically try and make yourself, because then you know what the materials are going into things. I'm going to try and make a teepee with organic cotton and then sit in that and then shine the lights into that as well. So that's what I'm planning to do. And by the way, thanks. I got so many nice emails of support for my illness and good advice. And one of the advices was about the infrared sauna thing. So thanks for all them. And I'm sorry I'm not going to film a proper rant this week because I've got a really bad detox headache today. I did one of those clay baths last night as well. So yeah, I'm going for a big detox thing. And part of that is also trying to take a day off in the week. So I've been doing that, trying to do that. Sunday is day off, the day of rest. So I think because now we don't have that structure anymore. We don't have go to church on a Sunday. But you know what? When I move, I will, because there's a couple of Catholic churches where I'm moving to, and they look lovely and old with stained glass windows. See that, with proper organs in them. Not organs like livers and kidneys. No, like proper, musical organs. So I'm going to go. I think it'd be nice to go every week, and maybe I'll make new friends. Oh dear. So anyway, so that's the crystal, and I think we'll end with the face, which is quite mental. So this is the bodies of three men, and one body is yellow, another is white, and the third is red. This is the face of heat, infrared, heaviness, growth in plains and fields, sustenance and division. I mean, when I look at this, for me, I know this is very thinking of like what's going on in England at the moment, but there's a three-party split. I mean, if we don't really count the Brexit party, because they are the outliers and they're the sort of joker of the pack. But at the moment, it's Conservatives. I'd say they were the white one. Red is Labour, obviously, and that yellow, very sick-looking yellow, is the Liberal Democrats. And actually, the latest polls are very interesting because Labour's really just collapsed. Everybody who would have voted Labour, which is the socialist sort of option, has moved to the Lib Dems. I just call them Lib Dems because that's what they are. Because they are like the champagne socialist option, and they're doing very well in London and its surrounds, especially the commuter areas where all the champagne socialist libs live. So they're not voting Labour because they're scared. They've been really scared away from the whole Marxist kind of. They're scared that they're going to be taxed, basically, because as much as they love to be socialists, they really don't want to pay high taxes. So they're moving to the Lib Dems and the Remain kind of side, and the Tories are getting strong because the problem is now is the Remain vote is being split. So really the Tories are getting in. May actually get a very strong majority. Because I'm not sure they will, but that's what the polls are saying. They may, just because the Remain vote is being split between Labour and the Lib Dems. So there is definitely a triangle thing going on here. And so yes, I did have a bit of a rant, didn't I? Okay, this is just for people in England or any people in America who are interested in our crazy politics and Brexit, because this will be before the election, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to be doing another Brexit video before December the 12th when it happens. So So yeah, this is a quick one because I want to get on and actually do the solar eclipse, which is very important, and we need to sort of have an advance warning of that, really. Another thing I wanted to ask as well. I'm trying to sort of have a timetable so I know what I'm doing every week. So that means that I can't be a workaholic, because that way, the trouble with being self-employed is there's always more things to do. You can always do more things, like, okay, got these readings, but then, oh, right, I've got an aspect I could do, or a star I could do, or I could always do something, or, you know, or make a YouTube video. But if I boil it down to things that I'm going to do every week, which is reasonable to earn some money and what people kind of want as well, then I can relax on Sunday and know that I've done my bit for the week. So what I'm thinking of doing, instead of doing the big, you know, every month I do a kind of month ahead video. But the thing is with that, because it's so long and it's for such a big slab of time, when I've done it, and I've done it like about 2 weeks before, by the time it gets that month, I've completely forgotten what I've even looked at, and it feels like it's out of date already. So would you prefer if I did sort of a weekly kind of let's look at the sky chart of the week, but maybe it can be full moon one week, then next week is the quarter moon, and then the week after that. So it's every week there's a moon, first of all, and then on top of that I can do the other sort of political things. But I think it'd be nice to check in every week. Or I was thinking maybe I should do a live thing every week. But the problem is the time between England and the US is so... If I did it at a convenient time for me, I don't think anyone would be up in the US. And I'd like to converse with my US followers. So that might have to be like on a Sunday or something. But I don't want to clash with Robert Phoenix because he does his Sunday. Maybe it should be Saturday. I don't know. So... yeah, tell me if you want me to do a live show, because then I wouldn't be doing any editing. It would just be live, and if there's long pauses and it goes on for an hour and a half, it doesn't really matter because people don't expect live shows to be all flash, do they? And well edited. So let me know what you prefer. Maybe a live show every week, or just the same kind of format for the moon, but like a quarter moon one where I look at the chart of the week as well, just to sort of see and check in what's going on, you know, because then it's more current, I think. And apparently YouTube kind of prefers current things. So if you're doing like a moon, but you do it 2 weeks before, it's kind of like, what's the point? Yeah, because by the time the moon comes along, it's an old video according to YouTube and it's not relevant. But then people want to know ahead of time. So I don't know. How long before the moon actually happens do you want to know about it? I mean, do you really want to know about it a week before? Or do you, or maybe 2 days before is enough? But then after the moon, then it goes out of date, so then you don't get the viewers. But if you put it, I've noticed this, if you put a moon video up and it's like a week and a half before, it builds up a lot of views. But after the moon has been, nobody watches it. So maybe it has to be a week and a half. I'd prefer to do it nearer the moon because then it's nearer to the energy, and I want to be more living in the now rather than living 2 weeks ahead all the time. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out. And so let me know, and thanks for listening, and I'll see you at the next quarter moon. Maybe. All the best. Bye-bye.